Hello there, welcome back to the Ogre, the old Geek Reacts, Reviews, Not Times, Reminiscences. Today we're doing Mrtás, I presume, don't know. Another recent find, another recent purchase. And you know, if I buy something, then by and large it's going to be good. I say that with all confidence because I never pick a lemon, do I? No. Anyway, this is glorious stuff, so let's have a listen, shall we? You'd think after, what are we talking now, 45-50 years of listening to extreme music, that I'd get bored of the tranquil intro into the raucous sound. By and large I don't. You know it's coming, we don't know it's coming, but there's a good guess it's coming. And you're never wrong-footed by it nowadays, but I guess how you do it. Not every tranquil intro works, but this one does. Particularly in context. I mean, the name of the song is "The Gate is Clad in Ice," and so you would expect a frosty intro, perhaps, and that simple keyboard refrain adequately conveyed a bit of frost nip. But of course, I'm always more than cock-a-hoop when the real stuff kicks in, and the frost continues, albeit in the sense of it's more like what's it more like? It's more like when you see those freezing lakes where the water beneath washes up against the shore and immediately turns to ice, type thing. Yeah, maybe not, but something else I don't tend to get bored with either is the juxtaposition of hurtling music with quite sedentary keyboard tones. Now, clearly that music is absolutely barreling along and it's full of menace. I mean, the bass tone on this, you know, is the sort of thing that cuts through anvils and the like. It's abrasive bass, and it's moving along, trying to think of an industrial analogy, and none's coming to mind without getting too vague or even too technical. But anyway, that bass line absolutely tanks along, but yet you've got this very plaintive, again I suppose to convey the iciness of the subject matter, but very, very simple. Some people really love, and fair play to them, we're all different, but they really love the symphonic keyboards and synthesizers whacking all over the place on either in sync with or as a contrast to the metal side of things. But I think on balance I prefer, well, not on balance, I do prefer this more simple synthesizer tone. It gives it more of a sense of fantasy to me for some reason. Now I can't tell, I'm not a musician, my ears not that discerning, that whether that riff we have here is from a keyboard or from a guitar. Regardless, it's very, very effective, and it's not as abrasive as the background fury, but nonetheless it'll leave you with a rash, a scuff or two if you got too close to it. But it just, the song, face value is quite simple in many ways, but it's not in reality. That there's a fair bit going on amongst it. I don't know, again I'm not a musician, so I don't know how complicated the riffing and everything else is on this. Clearly it's not prog in any way, but to achieve the sound they're making, I don't know how adept you have to be, but what they are adept at is the dynamic and nuance in quite, I'm not going to say brutal music, because it doesn't sound brutal to me in the sense of how most people describe brutal in a metal way, but in an aggressive setting like this, nuance you think will get lost, but it doesn't. It just accentuates and highlights the rough and tumble it flows along with. it was inevitable that excuse me, at some point the pace would diminish to this more steadier section, but it does give me an opportunity to mention the vocals. And I don't mention this, I do mention this in a specific way, but what's prompted my thoughts are the fact that of late I've been, well, not of late, I always look for new music. Every day I look somewhere for something new, to varying degrees of time spent, but I've bookmarked quite a few albums of late, which I've then gone back to listen to more thoroughly, and I've binned quite a few of them purely on the vocals. Now, it's not a new thing, but a lot of what has attracted me musically of late, the vocals are a barky accompaniment to the instrumentation, and it spoils it for me, by and large, in black metal terms, because it just doesn't gel. This is a generalisation. There are some barky, shouty vocals in black metal that work well, but of late the ones I've been listening to have been that much of a turn off for me that even though I've enjoyed the music, I've binned the album from my purchase list. So I will always be thankful of buried rafy vocals such as we have here, which, to be fair, is one of my favourite forms of vocals in any metal. Although that sort of rafy vocals are limited in how many genres they work within, I suppose, but so let's just say for black metal purposes, it is one of my favouriteest vocals. So yes, in general terms, hurrah for this sort of vocal. But yeah, probably waffling down a tangent which I can't come back from. I shall let this run to the end. Yes, I will. So there you go, wrapped in this Sub-Zero blanket at the end. Yes, superb song. Of course, for me, the best ending would have been a rapid charge to the end, but nonetheless, the whole thing was enjoyable, and the album as a whole is well worth your ears if you enjoyed that. Well worth your cash as well, for that matter. Anyway, clicky bollocks, catch you all next time, cheerio.